Should point out that Lorna Kavanagh did miss weight by 1.3 pounds, but doesn't look like that's going to play too much of a factor into this one, especially with these flyweights.
I'm interested to see how these guys open up, given the fact they've both had, big periods of time where they've not been competing. Does anxiety play into these opening minutes and, change their decision making? Both very cautious to start with. Oh, straight in with a left hand to high kick.
Looking to end things early is Lorna Kavanagh.
You can see Morgan switched on and fired up now. His eyes are like lasers. Nice trade on that low kick.
Kavanagh's hands looking very smooth early as well. Oh, kicks the leg out from underneath his man and straight back on him. Kavanagh looking very confident in these early exchanges.
Really powerful low kick that was. And again, straight into the calf.
Ryan Morgan answers back with one of his own.
We have a cut above the eye of Ryan Morgan already. You can see some swelling in the brow.
We'll see if that becomes an issue as this one goes on, but staggers his man there, does Kavanagh.
It was a nice long left hook that was. Switches back to orthodox. Out of the way of the spinning techniques.
Oh, nice side kick right from Kavanagh as well.
Don't see that very often.
For just a 22-year-old young man as well, looking supremely confident. There's a 14-year age gap between these two guys.
I think he's going to try and come over the top with that right hand in a moment.
Just faked a little hop in there, did Ryan Morgan. They reset center of the cage.
Very difficult to read what Kavanagh's going to do. He's very slick, very fast.
And he's mixed up the shots a lot early here, so really difficult for Ryan Morgan to get a bead on his man early on as Kavanagh chops the lower leg that time.
And Kavanagh giving nothing away for free. Every time Morgan steps forward to do something, there's a counter to meet it. Oh, spinning kick return. Little smile from Morgan.
Oh, and again a kick to the body. Ryan Morgan shook his head no, which usually means the exact opposite.
It's a good thing he's been doing his sit-ups. That calf is becoming a consistent target for Kavanagh.
And you wonder if that body kick that's landed so well might just flick a few more inches up and come over the top of the guard at some point.
Well, that's the question. Once he's softened that target, there it is again. Beautiful body shot and a left hook on the end. You're right, Brad. Now he's softened up that target. He can use that as a feint to open up the head target. Oh, spinning back kick. Super slick.
Sending Ryan Morgan clattering back into the fence there was Lorna Kavanagh.
Morgan has had K1 kickboxing experience as well, but the speed and footwork of Kavanagh is really making him very uneasy.
Kavanagh told us earlier in the week that he was supposed to fight at the last Cage Warriors event in the UK back in December, and that fell through due to his opponent not being able to compete. So he's been ready to go for some time with this Cage Warriors debut, and he's certainly putting on a performance worthy of that debut here tonight.
Look at the swelling on the lead leg of Morgan as well. You can see the bump on the front of his shin bone from the calf kicks. Great defensive movement as well as pressure from Kavanagh.
Approaching the final 30 seconds of the round, and Kavanagh just looking to draw something out of his man here. That kick called on the guard of Ryan Morgan.
So fast with his legs. Oh, there it is again. Return from Morgan. Great first round.
And that body of Morgan is really striped up. We've seen Morgan try and fake that little jumping knee a couple of times, but it doesn't seem to be working for him. Lorna Kavanagh just seems to be there first in all these exchanges, Dan.
Yeah, he's maintaining a really steady pressure whilst at the same time being very, very difficult to hit. Every time Morgan engages, he's throwing a single shot, which is allowing Kavanagh to just shrink away from him and give him enough space to express the technique without it landing on anything. But the pressure that Kavanagh is maintaining with Morgan up against the fence keeps him in range of those powerful body kicks that he's been throwing. A really good first round from Kavanagh.
We'll take another look now at some of these beautiful body kicks from Lorna Kavanagh. And as we say, the body of Ryan Morgan really striped up. And a nice left hand there as he switches stance, and again another body kick and a combination behind it. Doesn't let his man rest for a second. Dan, your thoughts on the many and varied grappling exchanges in that first round?
I was going to say, there's not much for me to say when you've got one of the best striking analysts in the world sitting right next to you. But, you know, one thing that is interesting with this is you've got to wonder if Ryan's going to look to take this fight to the ground. He really does feel like he's getting pieced up quite badly in that first round. Is he going to change the strategy going into the second? You know, trains at the Matt Academy, you know that he's going to have good wrestling, you know he's going to have good grappling. Is he going to try and utilize it?
Well, that could be key going forward. You know, is he going to try and change the game plan here, or is there a bit of bravado and a bit of ego going to come into it? And is he going to want to try and beat Lorna Kavanagh at his own game?
I mean, he looks incredibly strong. If I was built like that, I would feel like I would be able to muscle my opponents around if I got a hand on them.
But I think that's the problem. You know, the distance that Kavanagh is keeping and the way that he's handling that space, he's just not able, Ryan isn't able to get close enough to put hands on him, and that's the problem.
I think he's wearing those scramble brand shorts as a way of throwing him off the scent. Really timid on that lead leg is Ryan Morgan. You can see every time Kavanagh feints that he's pulling his weight off that lead leg. Now the problem with that is that it's leaving his back foot planted, which leaves his head largely in the same position. It's now started to affect his defense as well.
Just inches short with that spinning kick was Lorna Kavanagh. And I've heard so much chatter on the regional circuit about this kid. And obviously when you look at his fights, you can see why. And this really is looking like a dream debut, but he's got to keep his guard up here. He can't get complacent against a powerful guy like Ryan Morgan, and that's exactly why those big shots are always going to come back. And how many times have we seen it only takes one in this sport?
Now look at the difference in targeting with the low kicks. Kavanagh will go straight into the shin and the calf, and then the return from Morgan, there it is again. The return from Morgan is higher than the knee, which is just not going to have the same effect as that calf kick. You can very much eat a few kicks into the thigh, into the quadricep, but the calf, as we've seen in recent years in mixed martial arts, is debilitating with one shot. Really affecting his movement to the point where he keeps switching his stance to move the vulnerable target away from his opponent.
Lorna Kavanagh still looking like he's barely taking a deep breath in this one. Oh, stepped in with the elbow there.
Very slick that was. Beautiful. We're going to see so much talent coming out of GB Top Team over the next couple of years. It's going to be crazy. I called down to the gym a couple of weeks ago, and what a setup they've got, and the knowledge they've got on the mat, you know, across all the veterans, of course Brad Pickett being the figurehead. It really is going to be a special gym. In the next couple of years, we're going to see loads of talent, and I do feel like Kavanagh is a great example of what they have to offer right now.
Absolutely, and a couple more examples coming up later on as Kavanagh tries the head kick, a nice left hook, a kick to the body. Oh, and a nice left hand from Ryan Morgan there.
Confidence is on the rise here with Kavanagh now. He's using that left hook to the right body kick, setting him up really well, both sides attacked. Oh, and a back kick. Look at the redness on the midsection of Ryan Morgan now.
Yeah, when you've got that good of a tan and you can still see the redness, you know it's having an effect.
Great center control by Kavanagh. Lovely feints. Cuts his opponents off. Oh! Puts him down with that.
Looking to get a grip around the neck here. Morgan stands up, clips his man. But there we see the accumulation of damage on that lead leg down.
He really wants that head kick knockout at every opportunity.
Oh, a huge shot!
Counter right hand! You can't count Morgan out. He's got thunderous punches when they land.
And perhaps just bringing Lorna Kavanagh back to reality for a second here. He's got to stay focused.
Good defense on the head kick there by Morgan. Kavanagh just for a moment giving him some space after that counter punch. A little bit more respect, but now he's starting to pick up the pressure again. Oh.
And you hear, oh, again going for the head kick, but he's got to watch that counter shot coming back. Morgan's corner calling for their man to go forward when he sees those opportunities.
Very difficult when you've got 1.5 legs to be functioning on. Look at the swelling on the front of his calf.
Well, we saw Ryan Mendez Morgan go down from one of those calf kicks. The damage certainly starting to build up now, and as we see a beautiful left hand there, and again goes back to that kick to the body. And we're going to see this low kick now that takes Ryan Morgan off his feet.
Look at the targeting of it. Look at the positioning of the kick, the attacking point, lower than the knee, takes his leg away. Even though Morgan kicked his leg up to defend, it took his balance away.
Morgan, though, fighting back and just caught this man off balance there with a few nice shots.
That's what he needs to do. He has to discourage him from throwing that calf kick. I'm sure his corner are going to be calling for more of that in the last round.
Ash Grimshaw in the corner of Lorna Kavanagh as well. A man we've seen on Cage Warriors before and for many years around the circuit. And Dan, you speak to that level of experience on the mat. You've got so many experienced guys running things at GB Top Team, and it really is paying dividends for these young fighters coming through. Great show of respect there as we enter the third and final round of this flyweight contest.
Look how timid Morgan is on that lead leg. Oh, that hurt me. Oh, into the body. That got a reaction. You can see his elbows drop after that connection. The corner team, Lu Long, really trying to implore their fighter to push forward when he kicks. They're saying you've got to get in his face. Easier said than done. That was a good shot.
That's what we need to see more of from Ryan Morgan. Does he have it in him in this third and final round? Corner calling for him to keep those hands up. They know that leg kick's been teased. The high kick, rather, has been teased one too many times for their liking.
Kavanagh's got to be really careful stepping in here because you can see Morgan is holding that left hand cocked, ready to try and crack him with one fight-ending punch. He's got to be so careful and so calculated. He has to use his feints here to try and draw. Oh! Knockout!
Unbelievable!
Wow, that was beautiful. Wow.
Lorna Kavanagh.
What a finish.
Knocks out Ryan Morgan in the third round.
That was a thing of beauty.
Just as we thought that Morgan was having some success drawing his man into that scrap, all of a sudden it did not go well for him.
It didn't. You know, he caught him perfectly as he overcommitted. A really calculated and well-balanced performance from Kavanagh, who picked his opportunities. He saw that there was an opportunity to catch his opponent there. Had been landing relatively, I've lost my word. What's the word I'm looking for? Basically, whenever he liked, he was peppering him. Whenever he liked, he was landing a variety of different shots. He was working to the body, to the lead leg. He was working that left hook and the snapping right hand as well. Beautiful work, so well measured.
The offense was so varied, you never knew when that power shot was coming from. Was it going to be a punch? Was it going to be a head kick? Or was he going to go to the liver? And it was just too much for Ryan Morgan to work out in the end. And Morgan just being helped onto his stool now with our medical team, of course. Fighter safety an absolute priority here at Cage Warriors before we move on with proceedings, but it does look like Ryan Morgan's okay. They're just taking him with the oxygen on his stool. Let's take a look at some of the replays of the finish of this fight, Dan.
Look how he's just hanging, waiting. Oh, that was a beautiful straight right on the chin. And you can see how he kind of teased the exchange. You see how he lunged in with his right hand, pulled away as Morgan went to engage, and then stepped in with a quick 1-2. Reminds me a lot of Kelvin Gastelum against Michael Bisping. Pulled the punch and then stepped straight back in with a 1-2, clean on the chin.
We see the corner here. There's Ash Grimshaw. A very reserved celebration there, but I'm sure he's going mad inside his head.
I think he knew what was coming, that's why.
Well, Ryan Morgan has made his way out of the cage under his own power now. So all that remains is to throw this one to our MC in the cage, Mr. Hal Chaplin, to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Mr. Mark Goddard, calls a stop to this contest after 1 minute and 13 seconds of round number 3, declaring your winner by way of knockout in the red corner, Kavanagh!
Well, it's a long-waited